good morning. So it is Thursday, 10 o'clock. I'm on here today because I want to talk about macros. So I have been vlogging for the past, I'd say honestly week and a half, but I don't feel like I would be doing any of you any justice if I don't go through and kind of do some sort of, talk where I can give you some actual educational stuff that you can kind of work with. Now, I'm going to be talking only about macros today, and then just kind of what they are, why maybe you could count, what would qualify as maybe a good enough reason to start counting, because some people are like, well, I don't need to count. Well, I mean, I don't think you have to either. I didn't think I had to, and I still don't think I have to, but the thing is that I was hitting a serious plateau in my health and fitness journey. I've been trying to put on serious muscle for the last, I'd say honestly, a year, but I haven't been consistent with it. So I kind of told myself enough is enough. I don't know if anybody has seen my Instagram. My last post about this, basically I talk about macros and how I have been actually achieving my goals because I finally told myself enough is enough. I need to get real with myself and actually see on my phone in a visual of exactly what I'm doing wrong, where I could improve. And it's kind of satisfying to see the numbers. For me anyway, I'm very data based. If I can see it, then I feel more motivated to either improve it or fix it, whatever, or just keep it the way it is and know heck yeah, I did a good job. So anyway, before I ramble on forever, so macros, I don't know if you've heard the term. It's thrown around like crazy all over the internet. Fitness is all about macros and bulking and cutting and all these terms that people throw around, but yet they don't really explain. Some people do. Obviously, yes, getting to your fitness goals is probably going to take hard work. It's going to take kind of feeling like you're in school and setting aside time every day to track things. I mean, at least in the beginning, I have found it's a little bit of a slower process because you're new, you're learning, so whatever. Before I start getting into the nitty gritty of counting, what are macros? So macros are macronutrients. So you have your macronutrients and you have your micronutrients. Micronutrients are minerals and vitamins. So for example, omega-3s, those are micronutrients. And then you have your macros, which encompass mainly 3 different food groups. So you have your carbs, which are your fuel source. So if you've ever seen a runner, a lot of times after a long run, they'll have a beer and you're like, why do they have beer? It's a carb. Or they'll have a banana or pasta or really heavy, carb dense foods. It's because they're burning through so much fuel. They need to basically restore those glycogen stores, are essentially what your body burns through, and that's why you need carbs. And then you have your fats, which basically keep you satiated or full. People can really overdo fats and people are like, ooh, fat's done, I don't want anything to do with that. But there are actually good fats versus unhealthy, greasy, fatty, disgusting fats, okay? So we'll get into that a little bit later. And then you have your proteins, which proteins to me are the OG of, or the best of the best, the one thing that I feel that you should focus on. If nothing else, that the most. That should be your number one thing, are proteins. So what they do is they help build and repair your muscles. You absolutely need proteins, especially if you're working out, or if you're, even if you're just trying to lose weight, or if you're trying to put on weight, those things, protein is gonna help do that for you. It's gonna help you reach that goal if you're hitting the right amount of protein. And that's where macros can kind of get really tricky because everybody's body is different. So why count? Why would you count? Well, like I kind of just said, if you're looking to lose weight, and let's say you've been trying to lose weight, but you've been struggling, I think counting could be a way for you to kind of see like where you're currently at in your health and fitness, and then kind of go from there and say, okay, you know, I counted for this whole week, and I would recommend that if you do it and you're just gonna start and see like where you're at, don't change anything, just eat exactly how you do for that week. Weigh yourself that first day. Now, I could go on and on about weighing myself. I didn't do it for a long time, but for the purpose of macros, I have been weighing myself just so that I have a baseline of, am I gaining? So am I doing what I'm supposed to? Or am I losing weight, which is not what I wanna do in my case. So keep things the way that they are. And then what you do is just count everything. We'll go through like counting and that stuff a little bit later. And then you weigh yourself at the end of that week, and let's say you stay the same. Okay, well then more than likely your macros are just maintaining your body weight. If you are slightly losing weight, now I'm not saying like a few pounds, like obviously we fluctuate throughout the day. Like I could weigh myself in the morning, I'm about, I'd say 1.5 pounds lighter than I am towards the end of the day. It's just, you know, the way that it is. So I would say, and again, I wanna say this, I am not a licensed professional, okay? Like my advice is just what has worked for me, and I'm only sharing because I want to be able to help somebody else at least kind of like get kind of comfortable with the idea of macros and not be afraid of it. Don't be intimidated, okay? Like anybody can do this, and honestly, it's kind of fun. Like that might be like the most nerdy thing I could say, but I thought I would never like counting my macros, and now I'm like, I have to. And if I forget, then I'm like, oh, I gotta do it because I wanna know what the heck I'm putting in my body. I wanna know what my numbers are. Now, obviously they might not be exactly accurate. You know, if you, let's say you have like a handful of pistachios, and that was literally me yesterday. You know, am I gonna weigh out those pistachios? Probably not, no. I'm just going to kind of ballpark it and, you know, put in that I had like this certain brand of pistachios, and then just kind of get an idea of like, okay, what do you think a handful would be? Is it like 30 grams? Okay, it's probably around 30 grams, but that's because I've done it. So maybe you could weigh something once or twice, and then once you kind of get an idea of like, okay, I'm having roughly around this amount of grams of this snack, then, you know, the next time I have it, I don't have to like weigh it necessarily. I can just ballpark it and know that I'm probably within the parameters of what I had marked down and weighed out before the first time I did it. So I don't think it's something that has to be like down to like the exact gram, but if you can get it so that you at least are within a pretty good range of knowing like, okay, this is what I'm eating, this is what my count is in general for the day, these are my calories, these are my fats, proteins, carbs, like my macros. You wanna know them. I think it's just really good. So yeah, I think it's really good because if you count, you can kind of get a more scientific and precise idea of what you are eating every single day. And I wrote down here that counting is really good if you aren't familiar with what you're eating in a day. So you could be like, yeah, I ate really healthy today, but you may have forgotten that you had a bowl of ice cream, or that you had popcorn at the movies last night, which was me. If you're somebody that just wants to kind of have an idea of like what your baseline is, so you kind of want to know like, okay, based off of how I'm eating now, you know, is my protein too high? Is it too low? So counting is good for that. And I think it's really good for people that are either struggling to lose or gain weight, and they just need to figure out like why, you know, the scientific explanation as to like why they're kind of like plateauing, or why really no progress has been made at all. So like I said, I'm not a professional, but I am absolutely 100,000% willing to help anybody that asks me any questions. I will answer them as best as I can. I'm only doing what I feel is best for me, and I can recommend anything and everything under the sun, but you're unique. We are all unique people, and what works for me might not work for you. Like, it could, but it might not. You know, I can't tell you, oh, well, this is exactly my macro count, you do that too. This is my calorie count, you do that too. No, because you might not have the same goals as myself. And honestly, this video is honestly just meant, how many times can I say honestly in a second? Like, I'm hype, sorry, I'm hype, okay? I'm hype. It's a good morning, it's bright, it's sunny, and I just wanna repeat words today, okay? Cool. This video is just meant to stimulate your curiosity about macros and kind of just give you like a brief idea of what it entails. So yeah, and just again, this process is completely unique to you, but I will give you kind of a rundown of like what my macros look like in a day. So to start, I'm going to tell you what my goals are. But other than that, guys, yeah, I hope that this is helpful. If there's something that maybe I missed or you have a question that I didn't really answer, I know I didn't really go through like the app. I will tell you what I do use. It is MyFitnessPal, and basically, so like I didn't enter anything for today yet. I don't even know if you can see that, but I have my calorie goals as 2,200. And actually I will show you quickly what my goals are. So I have my calories as 2,200, like I said. My carbs are at 40%, which is 220 grams. 30% is protein, so 165 grams, and then 30% is fat, which is 73 grams. Now, again, I'm not a professional. Somebody could read or, you know, hear what I just said. I'll show it to you if you want to like screenshot that. And somebody could say, that's wrong. You're not gonna gain weight, you're gonna get fat. Okay, well, then you talk to me, and then if you know way more than I do, then wonderful, that I can figure this out. I can have somebody else help me. This is just my baseline. I've only been doing this for a few weeks, and 2 weeks, and I want to see what happens, you know? And some days, I'll be honest with you, I can't hit these numbers, I can't. My protein, that's the one thing, like I said before, is the most, if not, I don't know, it's the most important thing in my opinion for my journey. So I do try to be sure that I hit that, but I do try to be sure that I don't go over my fat. But anyway, I hope this helped, and I am glad to do more of these later on. Obviously, this is just the extent of my knowledge right now. This is all still very new and fresh to me, but I was so excited that I wanted to come on here and share it. I really, truly hope it was helpful. I know that I can't give you like definitive answers to like how to get to your goal, but I hope this at least kind of gives you an idea of like what I'm doing, and then maybe based off of that, hopefully it'll give you at least a little bit of insight as to what you can do for yourself. But if not, definitely shoot me a message right in the comments below, and I will definitely answer them. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was super helpful, and I hope you guys have a wonderful May. Guys, it is Taurus season, so I am in full freaking swing. I am thriving, girl, I'm thriving. My birthday is in like 12 days. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Okay. But that's all I got for you, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.